Welcome back to another amazing episode of Reason, religiously educated atheists, secularists, and other non-theists. What's up, everybody? We got Dieter in the house, the one and only with the most bassiest voice that will make you moist.
Why do you let him do the intro?
We got Godless engineer in the building. The guy with the brains behind the operation that does all this fancy podcast stuff for y'all. And then we got me, the heartthrob.
Yeah.
So,
thanks.
So,
none of us are heartthrobs, just you. I'm okay being the brains, I guess.
Brains over brawn, right? But we're going to go ahead and do what we usually do and kick it off with some new science this week.
All right, everybody. So if you click the link that I imagine G put somewhere, I highly recommend you do, because this is going to be the most interesting and most boring new science we've ever presented, mostly because I have no bloody idea what's going on, so I have very little ability to explain it to anybody, let alone myself. So, last week, scientists at the Large Hadron Collider hope to make contact with a parallel universe in the next couple days. Presumably that means there were some results. Also something I recommend people look up. But the idea is that using the characteristic of gravity, which can, in ways, leak into higher dimensions, if that is conceivable, then generating tiny black holes in the Large Hadron Collider should be able to show data that indicates there are other universes following this new hypothesis model of gravity rainbow.
That sounds pretty awesome.
I don't know what I just said. But apparently
it doesn't matter if you don't know. Buzzwords, okay? Parallel universe. Fuck yes, man. I've been saying this. Can we get out of this freaking universe where superstition and ignorance is glorified? And can we please go to the fucking universe where reason, logic, and science are embraced?
This is the deal, though. In the same way that, like, higher dimensions doesn't actually mean we'd go anywhere if we reached any of these higher dimensions. All it would mean is we have, like, a heightened perception of more characteristics of the universe we live in. Like 2D versus 3D. It's just larger perceptional ability. Going into other universes might not actually mean we go anywhere. It might just mean...
Wait. Haven't you ever seen the show Sliders? Okay? You go somewhere, okay? You hop into a wormhole, and you pop out in some crazy other place.
You see, like, wormholes won't go to different universes. All they're gonna do is to go to other places in our universe. Unless tiny black holes actually generate new universes. But then did those universes start in our universe? Is our universe everything that ever can possibly exist? And all we do is dip into other things that are characteristic of our universe? Does visiting a new universe destroy our universe? Is our universe only exist to the degree that we can perceive it? This is what happens when you go to high-level physics. It's so freaking interesting, and I wish I understood it better.
Well, now,
science,
amoral atheist in the comments here has brought up something. He says that Trump doesn't like this idea. He doesn't want some parallel universe immigrants. And I have to say, do you think that he might be trying to put up a wall between universes? Like, if this actually results in us contacting another parallel universe, do you think Trump will just go apeshit with it and just, be like, oh, we've got to put up these walls. Keep all these other universe immigrants out. Our universe is the best universe because God created it.
That's what's so freaking weird about this whole situation. First off, Trump's crazy and an idiot and successful, sort of, by being a failure. If anything were to prove that science is confusing and doesn't match up with reality all the time, it's the fact that Trump has made any money. But anyway, as far as, like, stuff coming from that universe into our universe or anything like that, I don't think that's a thing, because I don't really think we'd ever be able to go to these universes, or even get instruments to go to these universes. All we'd really be able to do is detect whether or not those universes are even existing by getting, like, feedback data, more or less. That's kind of what this whole gravity's rainbow is supposed to be representing. But, again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Research it on your own.
200 years ago, having a portal in your pocket to everyone in the world, to all the information that you need, was witchcraft. It was science fiction. You know? And the science fiction of today is the science of tomorrow, okay? So parallel universes, listen, sign me up. You need somebody to go through, I'm out of here. Sign me up. Can we do like a Mars 1 with this, but not like a reality TV show? Just get some people to sign up to go through and see what happens.
That's the thing, though. Like, this could be one of those situations where it's not that it's beyond our understanding, it's that, like, it's physically impossible. Like, the matter from our universe won't interact with that universe. That's the thing, is, like, we have matter and stuff.
You don't know that.
We have, like, matter. Like, the only thing that we are hypothesizing that can actually cross universes is gravity. A force we only understand the effects of. So, it's up in the air if our matter could even get over there. Or if our energy could even get over there. It's confusing. I like biology.
Who was it that said imagination is the key to the universe? Was that Carl Sagan? Imagination, Dieter. Who cares about what's possible right now? Let's care about what we can imagine, okay? I'm imagining a different universe where superstition and ignorance have not captured the world, okay?
Isn't it more the great mind Hubert Farnsworth once said, "No, that's what a magical elf thinks"?
Well, listen, it all seems like magic, you know, when you can't understand that higher level of physics, okay?
Oh, all right. So, I got some crystals I can sell you, Aeolus. They'll make you even stronger.
You know, there's amoral atheist, or not. I don't think it was amoral. E Cantona 7 in the comment section brought up something good from We Are Atheism. I think that's what they were trying to indicate there. But a parallel universe will disprove God, as it's only possible for God to create one universe due to His omnibenevolence. I don't know if I would subscribe to that idea. I think that being that God is as magical as He is, you know, I think that it would just, they would just move the goalposts or fill in the gaps with God being able to create all these parallel universes. I think that line of reasoning is going to continuously be pushed back, you know,
But there's a counter to it already. It's like, all right, so God made all these other universes, and oh, damn it, that's the same as, like, the planets argument. They actually could do that. I was going to say, so God made all these other universes, but threw them out and only have this one for humans because they're special. But that's exactly the argument that people say, like, why are there so many stars and other planets? And that's still reconciled somehow.
Okay, so to kind of go back and
apologizing is strong. Sorry?
Go back and kind of clarify on the original point that Dieter made, because me and GE were kidding around with this idea. They can't actually take us to a parallel universe. They're just saying that maybe they may have discovered or will discover higher dimensions or potential parallel universes. Is that right, Dieter? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, and if anyone actually found that information, because apparently this test might have already been done, yeah, send that to us.
Cool.
All right.
Because I want to see how that goes.
Yeah, and that was really good science, new science this week, because that's going to be interesting to see what that does. But let's see.
Hey, I've got something.
Okay, go ahead.
Before we go on, did you guys see about they said that there was a star that was exhibiting a strange behavior, and that
Oh,
it looked
God,
like
that
it may
thing.
have had a Dyson sphere? Did they ever figure that out?
Well, no, like we're never going to be 100% sure what it is, but I read like the article, and it's one of those situations where it's like, oh damn, nothing in the literature has information on what this weird situation could be. Therefore, aliens. Like it's one of those situations. We don't know what's going on. Therefore, aliens is a possibility.
Well, of
I think the
course.
science. Yeah, it's silly. There's no like definitive reason to think that it is definitely a Dyson sphere. And for those who don't know, a Dyson sphere is a artificially constructed structure all around a star, presumably absorbing all of the energy it can produce. But yeah, no. There's no definitive saying that it is anything. It's just an interesting phenomenon that we don't understand what's going on yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, no, no, yeah. When that story came up, it honestly it reminded me of the Battleship movie. Did you guys ever see that?
No, I watch good movies.
You watch good movies. Okay, thanks for that.
No, I never saw it. I just watch the Attack on Titan movies. I don't watch just good movies.
Exactly. If you've never seen it, how do you know it's bad? But no, in that particular movie, they had sent out a probe, and it was intercepted by aliens, and so they were like, "Oh, we got to go and attack these people now." And so that's basically it. And when people were starting to talk about all that, it made me think like, "Oh shit, is Battleship just a future documentary, or what's going on here?"
No, what's terrifying about it, though, is if we actually, like, if someone made a Dyson sphere sort of situation, they would be so far technologically advanced from us that it would just be stupefying. Like, it would take hundreds of planet-size, like, Earth-sized planets to harvest the raw material to make a structure like that.
But here's the other problem too. Like, here's the other problem. How far away is that? How far away is it? Because the universe has a lot of, ways it can destroy a civilization. They could already be gone by the time the light from their universe, their galaxy is getting to us. So, they could be looking at us and seeing, like, I don't know, multi-celled organisms just starting to sprout up.
Well, yeah, it depends on how far away they are.
Yeah.
No, I read the beginning of an article a little while ago that said based on time scale of the universe or something, it's actually possible that because of how long it takes for our solar system to develop the way that it is and all that nonsense, we might actually be the only intelligent life in the universe. Because we're the first intelligent life in the universe.
It's also possible that intelligence is an accident.
Well, nothing's an accident. It's just there's no reason to think we were special.
Well, given the fact that most of the human race does not use or utilize their intelligence, I'd say it's a pretty good argument made by my favorite astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, you and your fancy scientists. I admit my horrific level of ignorance. I'm the best scientist.
What's next, GE?
Next up, we have a chlamydia outbreak in an abstinence only Texas high school.
Oh shit! I was supposed to look stuff up about that.
Yeah.
Keep talking. Distract them.
Yeah, an abstinence-only high school in a tiny Texas town is battling a colossal chlamydia epidemic. District officials are rethinking their approach to sex education after 20 of Crane High School's 300 students tested positive for the sexually transmitted disease. The U.S. Centers for Disease and Control Prevention called the outbreak a health issue at epidemic proportions. And, this is the problem with abstinence-only, talks is because they don't, when you teach kids that, just don't have sex, it's the only way to do it. You're stifling them as far as being knowledgeable enough to protect themselves. So I think honestly, I think it really borderlines on some kind of cruelty to these students to teach them that, well, sex is the only way, and to not educate them on how to protect themselves sexually,
Like in these sort of situations, every single thing that these children are told is a lie of some kind. Like in these last 14 seconds while I was reading this information, something that's commonly told to them, and I'm not sure about this school specifically, but they butcher the information about contraception. Like they over-exaggerate the failure rate, or they outright lie about the failure rate of different contraceptive techniques. Then they say like horrific, like they really use scare tactics about diseases, even though if you like use the proper protection, or if you like know the person really well beforehand, I have no idea, then those kind of diseases are much less likely to be contracted. Also, if you're educated on how to identify symptoms, it's much less likely to happen. But yeah, the entire situation is just constant barrage of lies and misinformation, just to try to keep the children pure or something. Like, I don't really understand the implication. Is it really that, like, what do you guys think? Like, why would anyone even want to have this sort of argument?
What argument? Like abstinence only?
Yeah, like why? Like
why? Well,
like,
okay. Look,
like,
listen.
Catholicism seems to want as many children as possible, but if you're just going to lie to them to make them not have sex, like what's the point?
Well, look. Okay, you are missing the entire point here, Dieter. Okay, and the entire point is to keep that pussy pristine. All right, you gotta keep the pussy pristine and keep that hymen unbroke. That way, when you deflower your lovely wife on her wedding night, regardless of if it's y'all's wedding night or whatnot, just on her wedding night, you get to break that hymen and get a little bit of blood on your dick, and that's how you know she's ripe. That's the only way to know.
This is what needs to happen. This is why.
Okay, go on.
This is why this is happening. Okay, we've got the people who are in charge of instituting these policies, or rather implementing these policies, are people from a different generation. Okay, we've hit the sexual revolution. Teenagers are fucking boning. Okay, they're doing it, man. If you want to teach abstinence, fine. But you also got to give them contraceptives and teach them how to protect themselves if they're going to have sex. Because just because you are teaching abstinence doesn't mean no one is going to have sex. They're all fucking, okay? They're fucking. And the problem is when you think that by telling them about contraceptives or birth control that you're condoning that. You're actually not condoning that. You're taking preventative measures. You can give them contraceptives and birth control, but explain, okay, I'm not condoning that you have the sex if it's the moral issue, if that's the real reason. I'm not condoning you to have sex, but I want you to be prepared in case it happens, because better safe than sorry. It's happening, and this is not the first high school where they've seen an outbreak of an STD due to this abstinence-only teaching. They're pretending to live in a world like the 1950s where maybe they weren't fucking as much as they are now. But listen, they're fucking now, okay? I got a Republican aunt who her daughter is 16. It's my cousin. Her daughter is 16. And for 3 years, she would cuddle upstairs in the bedroom with her boyfriend. And I told my aunt, I was like, they're up there having sex, right? I said, they're up there having sex? No, they're not having sex. I'm like, you need to put her on birth control or give her some condoms. I can't do that, because if I do that, then it'll be saying it's okay to have sex. I said, no, it's not. It's taking preventative measures. She didn't get it, didn't want to put her on birth control, right? So the next time I went over and I asked where my cousin was, upstairs cuddling with her boyfriend. I just came out and told her. I said, they're up there fucking, right? Do you want to have another baby in your house? You're going to be taking... She's 16 and you're going to be taking care of this baby. Not her, you. Well, that worked, because putting it in those terms, she went and got her birth control the next day.
Yeah.
So maybe this is what we need to do. This is the approach that we need to take. We need to let people know that they're out here fucking, okay?
No, I can
They're
just see you.
fucking-
Hey, listen.
So 1950s, they were fucking just as much. Like, let's not pretend that our like parents and grandparents were holier than we think they are. No, they
They
were.
claim to be. They all claim to be. They're like, no, we didn't do that, and we,
Maybe it's like because they weren't like talked to about this when they were really young, then they just don't know how to do it now in some communities. And because of that, it's just scary. It's a topic like the stereotypical like parents blushing and when the kid asks them something. Now that we live in our generation where we all learned about this stuff basically instantly because we have information flowing into our faces all the fucking time. So maybe now we're just so surprised when there's any kind of time where information's being suppressed because we just have it all the time. It's a generational thing, but still.
I think too. Also, like kids are hitting puberty like more often. I mean, not more often, but at a younger age.
I was about to say,
now.
you do it like once mostly.
I went through puberty when I was.
And like, I know Aeolus is trying to be like really like accommodating to people who are like denying that fucking is happening or whatever. But it's not even that. It's not even like you do have to endorse this behavior. You do have to understand that it's happening.
You don't have to endorse
this. You don't have to endorsing it. I disagree. I think you have to. Because if you're not, then you're just living in denial.
You can accept that sex is happening more. I feel like even now, like to me, like my peers, when I was in high school, we were fucking. But we weren't fucking like we're fucking now. So like, whereas I might have had a female friend who maybe slept with like 5 or 6 guys in high school, that same female friend now is like 50 or 60. And not just picking like a female, pick a male too. The same thing. Like I feel like they're more like sexually flagrant now.
I think you're just aware of it now.
I don't think that's what it is. I think that as time goes on and the ability to have sex with a lot of people or sex more frequently is made available to us, people are going to do it more often. They didn't have social media in the 50s where you can hit a girl up and say, hey, what's up? Or you can hit a guy up and say, hey, what's up? You want to hang out this weekend? And you go hang out and then you're fucking. They didn't have that type of access.
Illness.
I'm saying it's more available now.
Okay.
Why am I defending the past?
I don't know.
Way? Because you intentionally try to disagree with me on everything. Just accept it. People are fucking. You don't gotta condone it. Just accept that they're fucking and take preventative measures in case they do.
No, but if you don't endorse the behavior, if you don't condone it, then the kids aren't going to talk to you about it, and you need to have them do that.
You don't need to talk to him about it. Just what's his name, Timmy? Timmy, he's going through puberty. Give that man some condoms. Somebody tell him about safe sex.
Oh, I love it's like a 10-year-old boy named Timmy.
Puberty. Susie, you're going on birth control, okay? Just
it's like a 10-year-old boy named Timmy, and you're like, this man is having sex now. Son, I need to take you to the pharmacy. Why, Dad? Because you're a man now.
Okay, hold on.
Timmy.
What are these?
What
are these for? I'm confused.
Yeah,
I don't endorse this behavior, so I'm not explaining it to you.
And tell people bad news. Like, okay, Grandma, they fucking. They're fucking, Grandma. Yeah, do you want another baby in the house? I didn't fucking think so.
If anybody on the internet needs me to tell somebody, if anyone on the internet needs us to tell children this information, let us know in the comments.
Give me their phone number. I will call them up and say, hey, Grandma, yeah. They fucking, okay? Birth control and condoms, motherfucker.
Download this video and make that your ringtone.
Well, okay, and to kind of get back.
Fucking. Oh, I got a text.
Okay, to get a little bit back on track here, I would also like to point out.
I'm sorry to say your grandmother's promiscuous. At the very least, moral atheist, your grandparents were very energetic people.
To get back on track a little bit, I would like to point out that that birth control actually has a lot of different uses outside of the whole, preventing pregnancy. They can help women control their periods if they're not getting their periods regularly. They help with a whole bunch of things, and it makes the periods less painful. I'm learning from an expert. It helps to reduce acne.
Yeah.
So
there's a whole bunch of things that birth control will be used for. Not condoms.
And then
except
but
for
of
the
course,
most awkward water balloon fight you'll ever have.
Yeah, but of course you have people like Hobby Lobby, who the Greens now are actually being taken to court because they've been stealing Jesus's prized possessions from his original homeland. But they were opposed to the contraceptions that were contraceptions that were provided because they felt like it killed like some semblance of a person that was living inside another human being. And that's just not what birth control does, not even the Plan B type of contraception that they were totally disregarding. And that's because it either prevents the egg from implanting or it stops fertilization. So, when you're not informed about how contraception works, how birth control works, you end up with these fantastic ideas of how you think they work instead of how they work. Kind of thing. So, but I would like to bring attention to everybody. I know a lot of people have already noticed the little image on the screen. I don't know if you guys have read it, but my beautiful wife-to-be left this in the bathroom. Can't wait to see my son or daughter. Heart, like Mary herself. And why? Because, nope, she's still a virgin. Laugh out loud. That's why I thought it was weird, like in the Bible. And this isn't just... Yeah, I know,
hey,
right?
Otis, you want to cover this one?
Yeah, I can just see it now. Like, dude, your girl, she fucking around on you.
She fucking... She fucking, he fucking, they fucking, okay?
Everybody's fucking. And apparently you ain't fucking right.
This is hilarious. Like, I read like a story a long time ago that was like a joke, I hope. But it was like this woman gave birth to a black baby, and she was white, and her husband was white. And she said that she got pregnant from a very interactive 3D porn video.
Oh no, I think that's a legit story.
Please say it's not.
I'm fairly certain that it is.
Gee, I have to live on this planet.
Well, no, these virgin births are not very uncommon. Actually, there's a lot of people that espouse the idea that they haven't had sex, but yet they get pregnant, and they come up with some of the most fantastical stories. Like, I know I had a teacher one time who was teaching middle school, and apparently a girl got pregnant from the toilet seat. Because apparently somebody was in there masturbating on the girls' toilets. I think
she just sat down, missing the center of the toilet completely.
The mom believed her.
That's what sat down on the semen, rubbed it all in. What is this? Smeared it in, stuck it in the lips and all.
There was a House episode that was perfect for this. It's just like, I heard this woman came in, she said she was pregnant, but she didn't have sex, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I heard you could get pregnant other ways, like on a toilet seat. And House looks at her and says, oh yeah, that can totally happen. There has to be a naked guy between you and the toilet seat, but yeah, it can totally happen.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the Civil War story of the musket firing the musket ball, hitting the guy's nuts, and then hitting the girl and getting her pregnant? No, listen. They were on the battlefield. They was fucking, okay? There was no musket ball. Stop the bullshit, okay? Just like somebody said in the comments section, he said, Mary, like Mary and Joseph, Pulse of Defiance said Mary was fucking. They fucking, okay? There was no virgin birth. She was fucking.
I'm gonna cut this out right here and make a clip of just you saying they fucking.
Send it to me.
They fucking.
I want it to be an extremely loud text indicator. Middle of a business meeting.
Oh man. Let's see.
Wait, Foxhole Atheist says semen in pre-cum can penetrate panties and impregnate a female. It can happen.
As long as the panties
like,
also
I
get
know.
up in there. Sort of possible, I guess.
Well, now I know
There's a lot of reasons why it's difficult to get people pregnant.
Pre-cum is like a concentrated shot, if you will, of semen.
It's really not.
It's not?
It contains some semen, or semen contains some semen. Semen contains some sperm, but it's mostly fluid that neutralizes the acid in your urethra to prepare for the sperm to show up.
Okay.
So there is some sperm in it, but sperm has much higher concentration of sperm.
See what happens when you're misinformed? You start spreading misinformation. What? Okay. I know, I'm stupid. Thank you.
They fucking.
They fucking. Okay, moving on to the next one. To the next story. We have prayer in schools, of course. And on this one in particular, it's the praying football coach. Apparently,
oh God, I love this story.
Yeah. Okay, so just to kind of give you a little bit of a backstory to this in general. Let's see. Hold on. B said, "I think John used that 'Why you always lying' on in the best way in the Ark Encounter video. If you guys haven't seen that yet, it's really I mixed this why the fuck you lying video. So
why you always lying? Oh my God! Stop fucking lying.
Okay, so but anyways, so this coach, right, he had this habit of going to the middle of the football field and praying before and after each football game, and it got to be really popular with the students, so the students joined him out there onto the field. The problem with this, though, is that he is a public school employee, being paid by the school, by public monies, to go out to do these football games, right? And but what he ends up doing is leading, team prayer, basically, in a capacity that makes it seem like he's an official for the school, which he kind of is. He represents the school. That whole team represents the school whenever they go away to away games, which they actually pray there as well. So apparently the FFRF got notified of it, and they sent him stuff and whatnot. And he's like, "Oh, I ain't stopping praying because it's definitely helping my losing season." So he would continually pray. And, after he got told by several people, I believe including the superintendent of the school district, that he was like, "I'm not going to stop praying." And so he just kept on praying. And so now he's on administrative paid leave. And he was or is suing the school district because they relieved him because he wouldn't stop praying. And so now you have all of the conservatives that are losing their shit over this guy, not really losing his job, but being put on leave because he was praying at a public school event. And so we actually have a video from Joshua Feuerstein that we're going to play here in a second. But I'm wondering, what are y'all's thoughts on this situation in general? Because it seems to be kind of an ongoing thing.
Here's the thing, man. When you lead a prayer, if you're not leading a prayer for all the different religions, you are leaving someone out. And it's not just the atheist argument because we don't believe in any God. It's for anyone. There may be a Muslim football player on that team. You don't know. There could be a Hindu football player, a Wiccan, a pagan, I don't know, a Satanist. There could be any other person on that team, and they feel left out, or that they have been forced to conform to your prayer because they've now been put at risk at bullying or maybe anything else. The other kids picking on them and stuff like that. So, my opinion is, if you're not going to lead every fucking prayer there is, then you shouldn't be leading any at all.
What about you, Dieter?
It's kind of a mixed bag, honestly. If it's a situation where the coach is requiring everyone else to participate in the prayer, then that's one of the situations that it's outright wrong, illegal. Like, there's a million reasons why that's not allowed. If it's using time that, like, if it's another way of wording it is if it's using time that is supposed to be relegated to participating in that sport, they're then saying, no, this is prayer time. That's also not okay. But if he was just praying by himself and other people happen to join him, then that's kind of a more gray area for me.
Well,
I don't think so.
Well, the way that I took it was it started out like that, but then it progressed into a more active, like, praying. Like, it became part of their ritual, before and after games. So, like, basically, it became just like, okay, well, now we go and pray out on the field, and it's like, that would happen before and after the game, and so who would lead them out there on it? It's not like he would go out there and just whoever joins him. It's not like the way that I take it. It's not like that. He was like, all right, now we're going to the field to pray, and so he was actively leading them out there to pray, like, on the field.
All right, that's not okay.
Yeah, well,
the thing is, Dieter, the thing is that even if he is leading, like, a private prayer, you got to understand, like, how you're forced to conform as a member of the football team. They're going to say, oh, you're not really with the team. You're not really a part of our group if you don't pray with us. Even if he's only leading it as a private prayer, it can lead to a systemic problem of sanctioned prayer.
Well, not only that, but if you think about how serious people take, football in general, I mean, it's not really hard to see them, taking it just a little bit too far. I don't think that it would take much for them to take it farther than that. But it's my understanding that it only became a problem when he was actively leading the team out there to pray. Because, it had been going on for years before that. Yeah.
What Stephen Corey brings up an issue. He says, yeah, but can you imagine one of the players not participating? What's more important to a jock, field time or social issues? That's another thing. If the coach sees that you decide to sit out of the prayer, he can use that against you in the future. Like, all right, I'm not going to put him on first string anymore, or I'm going to make him sit out a little bit.
He doesn't believe in Jesus, so I'm not going to put him on first string so he can tackle some bitches.
I mean, that would just mean that that's an awful coach. But if all you're saying is we shouldn't allow prayer whatsoever on a football field, just because it would then reveal the horrific bigotry that the coach has, I would rather have that bigotry revealed.
Well, I would too, and I think that this situation was handled appropriately in that, nobody was really involved in taking an active anti-stance to this until it became a systemic problem of him, actively leading, the players out there on the field and whatnot. So if it was just...
So once that happens, it's bad.
Yeah, well, when if it was just him out there praying, and then other teammates came out there or players came out there and started praying with him around him, I don't think that would be so much of an issue. So, I mean, it's just he became really active in making the team go out there and pray. So yeah, but I do agree with you, Dieter, that it wouldn't be a problem if he wasn't actively doing it.
But you see, even if it stayed the beginning version of what it was, the response to this, I still love.
Yeah.
Like, is this the same story as the Satanist one?
No.
Here's
But
the other thing though. Have you been seeing these stories that pop up like every week of like a kid who decides to sit out of the Pledge of Allegiance or decides
Mhm.
not to participate in some event? They end up being stigmatized, and that's the risk that you have when you're supporting like these type of prayers. Someone who says, "Okay, yeah, it's a voluntary thing. I'm not gonna do it." They're going to be stigmatized no matter what. I mean, come on, we all three of us live in the United States. We know how Christian America is. We know what they do when they find out that you're not a member of their group. They're going to fucking stigmatize you, and they're basically going to make life
Yeah,
a little bit harder for you. So can we just leave the religion in church, people? Please.
But I mean, that's life, honestly. Like, if
It's
you're
not
on a
life.
team,
You can't just say that's life. Like, what the fuck do you
yes,
think
I
was happening
can,
during
because it's
when slaves were slaves? Hey, sorry, bro. That's
no,
life.
Aeolus,
No, fuck that. You
shut
take a
your mouth,
stand.
sir.
You take a fucking stand, and you change the world. Okay.
No,
You
I
don't
like
just say
changing the
that's
world.
life.
I like changing the world by basically by social movement, not necessarily by laws having to be changed. And by that, I'm not always, obviously, but I'm using that in this context to mean punishing the coach might not have been the best way to solve this. And the reason I say that that's life is because kids will find any reason to hate each other. Like, we can't force children not to talk about every single possible controversial issue just because it might stir ostracization. Obviously, being ostracized is possibly one of the worst things that can ever happen to a kid, but you can't prevent it from happening to them.
That's
If
true,
that's
and
if that if they're in a
I
group
never
of
said I was
if
in
they're in a group of
support.
people that do that.
You also, let me make clear my position. You also can't punish this coach because unless someone sits him down and thoroughly explains why he shouldn't be able to pray with the team on the field, then you can't blame him, because as a Christian, I thought probably the same thing that he thought. That this is our Christian right to do this and blah blah blah. Until you've been shown otherwise, you can't really change the behavior or understand what's going wrong. So I don't think he should be punished for this, but it shouldn't be allowed.
Fine, I'll take the middle ground with you. Shut up.
What's
let's
happening
see.
here?
Okay, well, B in the comment section actually reminded me that it actually, the Satanist group actually is it's the same high school.
Yes. Okay, can I do it? Can I say it? Okay. So the Satanist group response is one of the ways I think is the best way to respond to this sort of situation. Not just punishing people, making them feel like they're victims and a martyr or whatever, but instead showing them how their activities are detrimental to everybody else. And what a Satanist group did was lead prayers, Satanist prayers, during these football games in the same way that this coach did. That way, he's able to see, hopefully, and relate it to his own activities, that having a sectarian prayer, regardless of which direction it's pointing, is exclusionary to everyone else that doesn't believe in that prayer or doesn't believe in that
Except
religion.
that's not what they're going to see. They're instead going to see this as an attack on their faith and their religion, and those damn Satanists are now taking over the football field.
But it doesn't always turn out that way. Maybe the coach might not learn per se, but other people will see this.
You're giving them too much credit, okay? They've thrown their brain in the trash. They've thrown away reason and logic and traded it for superstition.
I don't know why I'm arguing with you so much today, but I'm never going to
We do this every time we have a show. Don't confuse it.
Oh, shut up. I do believe in these people being able to come out of this. And you know why you should? Because you did.
That's actually a good point. I concede that one. Continue.
Okay, yeah, I believe I have this set up to where you guys can hear it, and it's not really going to cause a problem audio-wise, so hopefully that is still the case. But here, this is actually a news report of their reaction to the Satanists showing up at the school and whatnot, and it's actually pretty. I mean, if you could understand it, I mean, that they just sort of stand there and chant Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So let's see if it.
Jesus.
I heard about Jesus. Apparently there was like a paper that went out that Jesus might have actually had kids. Like there's more evidence for that happening, and people are just outright refusing to think it exists. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I would say I'm gathering you guys couldn't hear that.
Nope. In response to the controversy, several Birmingham students requested the Satanic Temple of Seattle lead an invocation at the game.
Let's see if that works a bit better.
We teach the kids here about diversity and tolerance and respect, about all of these.
I'm so glad that
in
people...
prayer, Dieter. You're supposed to be quiet when you're in prayer.
They're moving their mouths a lot for people that are praying.
They're whispering, Dieter.
That many people whispering would be pretty loud, Ellis.
Listen, I'm trying to defend GE here. Give him the benefit of the doubt, okay?
Let's see, how does it?
There is noise now, it's just very faint. We need like a technical difficulties thing to come up on the screen. There we go.
What? You could hear it then?
It works. Make it louder.
Okay.
Of a public facility and take part in a religious activity while we're at a public funded event. Well, we have a great school, great staff, great loving group of people. Let's get back to what we know how to do, which is take care of each other and take care and raise great kids.
I mean, it really brought people together, and there's so much that polarizes already. It'd be one thing if you were, excluding kids or making people feel lesser, but he was even praying for the other team. You've got somebody who's willing to bless children or teens and bring them together and kind of unite.
See, Dieter, I told you.
Give them something positive, and you take it away. It's kind of a silly thing to fight to me. So.
30 seconds left.
The lack of self-reflection is incredible.
I'm kids that invited the Satanists because I feel like it pushed administration to move towards the right action.
We told them we were going to come in. I mean, the game's almost over, and we don't really want to distract from the game. Like, they're there to support the team, and we don't want to interfere with that. So if they want to come out and meet us, we want to be here for that, but we're not going to try to come in.
Were there a large group of students that asked you to come, or what?
More and more. I would say now I think I've heard from 10 different students, and a couple have come by and said I'd host already, and it's been really nice. So to meet the people who invited us and the community members and show our support for them, because that was, that takes a lot of guts.
Even when you guys type, the sound goes down.
Okay, I would like to point out here that they won against that team, so it's obvious that Satan was with them that night.
Okay, so in this specific example, it looks like, based on what some of the people were saying, that they were cool with the satanic temple coming out and praying. But I don't know if you've seen, like, where they've given satanic invocations before, like, council meetings and things like that. A lot of times what happens is the Christians leave the room. And in this specific example, as you saw, they were actually supportive of the prayer, and people stayed there. Okay, in that specific example, I will concede to you, dear. In that example, people will, eventually, it'll get to sink in, that, hey, if we do these prayers, we're excluding people. But in the examples where you have these hardcore right-wingers, it's not going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, when it's in places like Texas and things like that, it's hardcore right-wingers. So we should be pushing for no prayer at all on the public dole. But if they're going to have a prayer, then we need to have as many other different types of prayers as we can. I'm all for having prayer. If you want to have prayer, that's great. Let's have prayer. But we're going to pray to the Hindu gods. We're going to pray to Allah. We're going to pray to Yahweh. We're going to pray to all those motherfuckers. Because I'm with you on this. I feel like you need to see how it excludes other people when you make a specific prayer. I would rather have that. I'd rather waste an hour praying to all the different gods and have no prayer at all. Because at least then we'd open some people's minds.
That would be kind of funny if someone actually managed to get that into a...
2 hours of your 8-hour school day spent praying.
No, because then would finally get a lot of people to realize, yeah, these are all the people you were excluding. It was actually hilarious. That's why, like, the first woman that was talking, I was like, holy shit, you have no idea that... like, she worded everything exactly the way that you were talking. Like... it just went right over her head that this is exclusionary. It was astonishing that someone could actually have that much, like, cognitive dissonance.
They have that much cognitive dissonance.
I mean, I feel like it just if I could talk to that woman for 3 minutes.
Peter, she would say you were instructed by Satan, and you were directed to her by God to test your faith.
Oh, no one believes me when I say. No, Aeolus, every time I tell people that I am a manifestation of their god, they never believe me.
You know, actually, I was recently told, due to my conversation with that Pastor Greg Locke that I had on Friday, in the comment section on the share that he did of the video on his page, somebody said that I was possessed by the devil because only questioning the faith comes from the devil. So I'm apparently devil-filled, and you're all doing my bidding.
Oh, so I had no idea you were the one hosting that and talking to Greg live? Good job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did that.
Know that. Good job. How'd that go?
Yeah, it went pretty good. I mean, you know, I got really kind of, I didn't know really where to go after he said that no amount of facts are going to sway his opinion. You know, so he pretty much pulled a Ken Ham. Because, you know, it was on the subject of whether or not Exodus actually happened. And so, like, I pointed out, like, look, it's been proven that Exodus just didn't happen at all. Like, it's a fabricated book. And, you know, so I don't see how you could really believe this, even though you know that it never happened. And he was just like, well, no amount of facts are going to make me question it. And I'm like, well... that's the end of the debate. Because, I mean, that's all...
Can you send him to me next?
Yeah. He answered my...
I would like to discuss evolution with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think... I know that he's wanting to talk with me again this coming month. So maybe both me and you can get in on that call and talk to him about...
It's like, GE, send him to me.
Okay. But let's see what Josh Feuerstein has to say about the praying coach, though. Okay.
I haven't heard his voice in like a month. Let's do it.
So Josh Feuerstein here. Look, I'm going to tell you why Christians should not only be mad as hell, but be mad at hell. Do you guys realize that this week, in fact, just today, that Coach Kennedy was kicked off of his high school football team? Why? Because he prayed after the game. Seriously, guys, this is absolutely ridiculous. You can see that the beginning of the culture and the tide is turning against Christianity in this country, and I've been telling you all along, it's the beginning of what I call the Christian Holocaust. You better get ready for persecution because now...
Y'all better get ready for persecution because it's going down this Sunday.
Alright.
Turn up the volume, apparently. Some people are having trouble hearing it.
Okay.
So, no one's being persecuted at all. This guy took his freedom too far and started making it semi-mandatory or making it exclusionary to lead these sort of prayers. No one is coming after you. You are not a victim. Calm down and get a real job.
Yeah, calm down and get a real job. I think it's funny that he's saying that this is a Christian Holocaust. Just because...
that didn't even register in my head. He says it so often.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Holocaust. I mean, they're claiming that this is persecution, but it's really just following the laws. Like, I don't even understand. Like, do you call it Christian persecution when a police officer pulls you over for fucking speeding? I don't think so. I mean,
Gee, add Aeolus to the call again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to. I keep calling him, but it says that there's a problem.
It's fine. He's not important.
Yeah.
Moving on.
It says call dropped.
This is going on throughout the comments section. It's this idea like, this is not a Holocaust. Like, that's such a horrible comparison. The only things that can be compared to a Holocaust are other Holocausts.
Well, yeah.
Other genocides, other horrific crimes against nature and mankind. This is just people complaining that they are no longer, like, their immense level of complete privilege in the truest sense of the word is finally being challenged to a degree. Basically, people are demanding they get treated like everybody else. Taking away the stick that they use to beat people. Or not even taking it away. Just telling people, you're not allowed to beat people. Stop that.
I think Aeolus has potato internet.
My internet's worse. No complaining.
Alright, well, let's see. While I'm trying to get him back, let's see what else Feuerstein has to say.
It's just blatant. You know, I think I've got a problem. I've got a problem not only with Bremerton High School, which I'm going to encourage you to call and ring their phones off the hook until they bring Coach Kennedy back, but I got a problem when it seems like even the LGBT...
Yep.
Feuerstein just endorsed doxing.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know what that means, I don't really know what it means either, but to my understanding, it's giving out private information of an organization, which, since he's repeating the name of the school over and over again, I guess it's not really hard anymore, but he's now encouraging people to harass a public school. Yeah, that's actually illegal to endorse that kind of behavior and encourage it.
Well, you know, this isn't the first time, though, that he has... that he has done something illegal or at least shady. You know, there was that when he called that one bakery on the phone, and the bakery's in Florida, and that's a two-party state. He was recording them with his phone, and you know he was in some legal trouble because of that. I don't know if he still is, or if that just got kind of pushed aside, or what's going on.
Now we know where all that camera money went.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I'm not
actually,
saying that's what happened. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just joking. But it's just so ridiculous. Like, he's actively telling people to harass a public school. Like, what the hell, man?
All right,
Incitement.
let's see.
There we go.
Incitement. Yeah, let's see what else he has to say.
Community has more courage than Christians do. You know, one of ours is being attacked, and it's time that we stand up and we speak out. It's time that we get the word out. It's time that we make some noise. It's time that we be loud and proud about being Christians and say we're not backing down. So I'm going to ask you to do one of two things. I'm going to ask you not only to share this video to help us get the word out and to begin to unite Christians in solidarity all across this country to make a stand, but it's time that we call Bremerton School District. In fact, their phone number is 360.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's doing something completely illegal. Report him. I'm going to report him.
Do it. I mean, when I first heard him say their phone number, I was like, well, it's a public high school. You know, they probably have their phone number listed, so I didn't know.
There's a difference between an organization or an individual having their information readily available on the internet and then telling people to go to that to like basically harass them. Like a public school is not prepared for all of his followers to harass them. Like that's appalling. Like I don't even know what to say. So yeah, I'm not going to say that everyone should report him because that was me being hyperbolic because I don't want to incite anybody to do anything to Joshua. But
yeah.
I'm going to.
Well, you know, that's actually kind of leads into our next topic, but let's finish up with Feuerstein here, and crap, and then I don't know if we're going to be able to get Alice back.
Is there a way for us to restart the call without losing the video?
No, yeah, I mean, I could hang up, but I'm not sure if like his internet is just out or what. So,
sometimes Skype is just dumb. Let's see if I can add him. Maybe that works for some reason. Wow, I have nobody on this account. Never mind. I can't add anybody to this call.
All right. Well, let's finish up with him, and we'll wait to see if Alice can get back in.
047308.
Don't let him say the number.
No.
That's 3.
He repeats it twice.
Video, damn it. Stop it. What are you
0800.
doing?
0800, what?
Gonna blow up their inbox, and I want you to let them know this is not okay. It's time that we take a stand right now.
No, what
so
you're
please
doing
share
is
the
not
video.
okay, Joshua. What you're doing is not okay.
Yeah.
And apparently, someone has already reported you. I will say again, don't bother the government more than you have to. But this is something that is actually not allowed.
Yeah. Let's see.
Call that number and let's let them know exactly what we think about them kicking Coach Kennedy out. No, Coach Kennedy, we stand with you. We will be silent no more.
Were they silent ever before? Like,
No,
I really
clearly.
don't. I
Clearly
really
they
don't.
were not silent. This is I forget. The Pulse of Defiance said, "We need to stand up, stomp our feet, swing our arms, and scream at the top of our lungs until we get what we want." That's basically what Joshua is trying
every
to do.
petulant child ever.
And it's even worse because a petulant child will calm down and eventually, hopefully, see the error of their ways. What he wants to do is harass a school until he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
So he's a petulant child with hundreds of thousands of other petulant children who have formed an army of defiance.
Yeah. Well,
it's just terrifying.
Yeah, to close out this particular story, though, there was one really good response that somebody wrote up. It was Linda K. Wertmer on the Washington Post. She says that you're promoting an America where it's okay to ignore the protections set up, not just for religious minorities, but for the growing number of nuns, the roughly 20% of Americans who say they are unaffiliated. And then Hemet Meta has highlighted this other part down here. It says, those displays show a majority rules kind of attitude rather than a respect for all Americans and a respect for the First Amendment's call for government not to establish a religion. I miss... He misses ALS. Wow. We just really must... we must suck that bad.
We're trying to get Aeolus back. I mean, I don't know what else we can do.
But I think that was a really good response. It really does point it out. Really, I'm trying to get him back on here.
We can just kind of assume that he's dead. That's fine. We'll find him again later. Lazarus and all that.
Yeah. Well, he's fucking. That's what Paul says, is that he's fucking.
Thank you, Pulse. Thank you.
He might be. He might just turn us on and then...
It's what he does every time he argues with me. It's kind of confusing and a little concerning, actually.
Oh, apparently Randy says that we're smart, but Aeolus is funny.
Yeah, you guys have such great sense of humor. All we need to do is say fucking over and over again.
Aeolus.
I miss him already.
Let's see if we can get his other account. Nope, that call failed too. Okay, I think that his internet's probably screwing up with him. But for the final topic that we have that we were going to do, it's actually Thunderfoot versus Laughing Witch.
Ah, man, we do have to touch on this.
Yeah. Which apparently Google shows up a nice little Wikipedia article for Thunderfoot. I didn't know he had his own Wikipedia.
Once you get popular enough.
Yeah, I know, right? But let me get a picture of Phil here. All right, so if you guys don't know, Phil Mason, he's Thunderfoot.
Aw, how can you hate that face?
Yeah, I'll fix the Skype stuff here.
All right, so I'll just start talking, apparently.
But yeah.
So, for those who don't know about this particular controversy, this has been an ongoing argument between Laughing Witch and Phil Mason Thunderfoot. And it has to do with this intense animosity that they seem to have for each other. And how did it start? I forget who actually sent the first message or who made the first video.
Well, no, it was they tried to get Thunderfoot fired and they failed miserably.
Okay, so I guess in the order, I'm trying to get the order of events correct, and it's kind of hard for me to find it a lot of the time. So Thunderfoot has made quite a few videos that are very critical about feminism. This is no secret. He doesn't pretend it's a secret. They're very publicly available. And it turns out that there was an outright conspiracy that was also not well hidden in any way to try to get Thunderfoot fired from his research job at whatever university or institution he works at. So there was a campaign about presumably around 10 or a dozen individuals sent extremely vitriolic letters to his institution trying to get him fired. And these things were horrific. They were he is a Nazi sympathizer. He actively is a racist, homophobic, transphobic, everything you can think of. And they did this to try to get him fired. He responded by basically just responding, saying holy shit, look at what these people are doing. This is incredible. Whatever. And he just kind of ran through that everything they're saying is bullshit, that he's not any of these things. And it's very telling that this is the sort of reaction that he gets to his videos critical of feminism. Now, because of his video, a bunch of people, or I can't really say because of his video per se, but it seems after that video went live, a lot of people were able to find the Laughing Witch's place of business, which is some, I forget exactly what it does. It has to do with house...
Bathtubs.
Yeah, it's bathtubs or something. And they just destroyed the Yelp reviews as well as just gave that company the most horrible reviews possible. And this, of course, resulted in her trying to get Thunderfoot to say bygones be bygones. Let's hold a truce or whatever. And Thunderfoot responded to that, going bullshit truce. You did this to yourself. So the whole controversy has to do with this idea of he was doxxed openly, and she was kind of doxxed but passively, because Thunderfoot never actively said that anyone should do this and never gave the information out or anything. She actually gave her real name herself in one of her videos, which has been referenced, but she took down her entire channel, so we can't really bring it up right now. So it's kind of up in the air. That's that's the only information I got from this. And that's why I kind of say it's a little bit up in the air on how I feel about it. Because I feel like Thunderfoot could have easily taken the high road and just been like, everybody who is doxing her, stop it. You are being horrible. This is a horrible representation. I do not endorse this, etc., etc. But at the same time, this is 100% her fault. She basically set the precedent of behavior, even going so far as saying online, I am untouchable. It's not that she works for her husband, but her husband owns the business, so what are you going to do to me? So, challenging the internet's a bad idea, but the response of the internet is also not appropriate. All you really need to do is just voice what she did, and then everything else should follow. There's no need to make, like, fake, terrible reviews of her company. Assuming that's what people actually did, because I never actually read any of the reviews. For all I know, they could just be honest.
Right.
So I'm in kind of a weird middle ground on this subject.
Well, let me
I've talked enough. Gee.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, let me end the call and try calling you guys back, because ALS, I think he's back up. So let me try calling you guys back, and then we'll be right back. Ah, crap, Skype has crashed. Hold on, guys. I know you guys didn't come here to just see my ass. See if we can get them back.
Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we're still not. Dieter's still not, or not Dieter, sorry, but ALS still isn't.
We might just want to finish up the story and just keep going, because we can't lose people.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this whole situation?
What do I think about the whole situation? Well, I'm in the curious spot of, I guess, I kind of agree. I partly agree with how Phil has handled it. I mean, what they did was they contacted his work, basically, and they tried to get him fired. That's kind of a real big dick move. Bewildered Ape, I think he did that to Devin Tracy. And even though I don't like Devin Tracy in the least bit, I think that he's an asshole and he's kind of like the bane of the atheist movement. But I don't think that anybody should have tried to contact anywhere that he might work and try to get him fired. I don't think that these personal issues, like especially if they don't have any kind of effect on the work that you do, should really be relevant to your job. Like me, I even if Josh Feuerstein had like some kind of job where he was just a working guy and he just so happened to be popular, like legit popular instead of the paid one, you know, I wouldn't even call, I wouldn't call his work or notify his work like, hey, look, this guy's being bigoted. You know, I mean, that just seems stupid to me. And so I think that...
Especially if most of the response was outright lying.
Right. And, you know, for what they did to Phil Mason, or they tried to do, and the lies that they had made up, I think that he handled it a relatively decent way. I mean, me personally, I probably wouldn't have pointed out to people like, hey, they have a Yelp page, and they've been saying all this lying shit to me, and, you know, they're social justice warriors in general, so... I mean, with how the internet reacts, I would probably have thought that through and not put it up. But my guess is that Phil kind of had that in mind, that, hey, this might happen. But he also probably weighed that against, like, well, you know, she really shouldn't have done this. So, you know, and so I think that she made a poor decision in trying to take on Phil Mason or try to get him fired or whatnot. I think that the controversies that usually surround these type of situations are sometimes can be pretty petty, and it really shows in people and what people do. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's definitely a really petty situation, but at the same time, I don't know. At the same time, it's really not. Like, it's only petty from our perspective because it didn't work. Like, if it actually worked and Thunderfoot was fired or, like, got sanctioned or whatever the hell could possibly happen to him at his work, then, like, what would we be saying? Would anyone come to his rescue? Would anyone say, like, this is a horrific case of doxing someone on the internet? Would anyone say he deserved that? Like... This is kind of the problem. It's almost like if somebody attempts to rob you, but fails because they're either incompetent or you stop them, that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't mean it's like, well, I guess we can just walk away from this as if nothing happened. It's like, nah. They still did something horrible, and they still need to understand that it's something you're not allowed to do, and no one should be okay with it. But that's kind of what this situation is being. Like, the people I've been hearing defending whatever the woman's name is, I don't remember her name, Laughing Witch.
Yeah.
What people that are defending her keep saying was, Thunderfoot suffered no harm, and she did suffer harm, therefore she is the victim in the situation.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
but
I fundamentally disagree. I do think it could have been handled better, and there's a way to be, like, the bigger person in this situation, but she's not a victim. None of this makes her a victim. If anything, she just got the raw end of the situation that she created.
Right. Well, you know, well, I mean, by saying that she's a victim, that's a lot like saying that the guy who started the fight by throwing the first punch is actually the victim in the whole fight. Like, it's not his fault at all. It's the person that retaliated back. And, you know, so because I see what the Phil's video about it to be a retaliation to them trying to get him fired. And you know, she was gloating about how she can't be touched and how, you know, I can say whatever I want because, you know, I'm not going to get fired. I'm in this position where I can say it. It's like, okay, fine. You want to gloat like that? Then I'll point out how, yeah, you can't be fired, but you can suffer other ways. And, you know, to me personally, I don't have any feels for her. You know, I mean, she bluffed hard, and he called her on her bluff. That's what happened.
And he actually, I don't even think that his videos have been, like, a negative response, per se. Like, there could have been so many ways that he could have handled this situation that could have been way nastier. But he's also given, like, several outs in some of his videos. Like, not even outs per se, because he's openly said that his position on this doesn't matter. But if she wanted to remedy the situation, she could have. She could have a couple times of just saying, I was wrong, the situation got out of hand, I handled it badly, all I can do is ask people for forgiveness. That's all I can do. I am at the mercy of the internet at this point, and I know that's a terrible position to be in. But that's basically, like, all she should do, but instead she's lying through her teeth, as someone in the chat said, and she's just handling this in such a negative way, and now trying to put the onus of remedying the situation on Thunderfoot, even though, on all counts, he could just take his hands off the situation at this point. Because everything that has happened is now just being escalated by her. That being said, Thunderfoot could be just like the greatest person ever, and just come out publicly and say that everyone should just lay off her and whatever. But I don't know, he's not really that kind of character.
No, I would say that
that would be a situation of somebody like punching you in the face, you knocking them over, and then like carrying them on your back to the hospital because they tripped over a rock they left earlier.
Right.
Like, it's difficult to be the bigger person in this situation.
Right, and I do agree. I mean, it is difficult to be that in this situation. But, you know, I have to say that, you know, what Thunderfoot did, like, he didn't issue a command or anything like that. He didn't team up with anybody to have her, like, to berate her into leaving the internet or anything like that. He just simply made a response video. And he pointed out, like, he pointed out how wrong she was. And so I still don't have any feels for her. He could be, you know, he could come out and say, hey, don't harass her like this. She just was dumb for a minute. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, you know, you really shouldn't have said that stuff to begin with. You should have thought it out a little bit more. So I don't know. I guess I'm conflicted in that sense, like whether or not he should say, hey, you guys don't do this. But
like if this exact situation were to happen to me for some reason, then I would like, I don't know, because I think there's definitely a benefit of even going above and beyond to be the bigger person. Because it kind of shows that even when you're in this situation, you can still understand why the other person is doing this. And I think I understand why Laughing Witch is acting this way. It just kind of goes into her whole complex that she seems to have over people that criticize her. And if someone did this to me, I think I actually would try really hard to understand what the person was thinking, why they did this, and try to send them on their way without having as many people as possible attack them. Obviously, Thunderfoot didn't incite anything, but that doesn't necessarily make it a good situation for her. So, no matter who it is, I would say, like, don't attack this person. People of the internet that I have sway over for some reason. Like, I would probably say, don't go after them. All the people I have, like, viciously shown are incorrect. I don't want anyone to go after them. Like, obviously. I don't think that's a productive way of doing things.
Right.
But that's a much different stance than saying they didn't do this to themselves. I think she did do this to herself. But at the same time, going after her isn't going to solve anything either.
Well, yeah, and, you know, I have to agree that the reaction of you know, his viewership or whatnot to go and make the false things on Yelp, I think that's kind of petty, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of like, that's like, I think that's like, what, Rule 14 or something, nothing is sacred on the internet. So, you know, I'm not surprised that they went and did it, but, I mean, at the same time, I mean, you would think that Laughing Witch would have had that to consider as well. Like, well, if I say this, people are going to find ingenious ways to fuck me over.
Well, she openly said she was invincible. So, yeah. I don't think she had that much wherewithal about the situation. But that's why I just fall back on the idea of pragmatism. Like, no matter what somebody does to you on the internet, it doesn't do anything to help. Like, it doesn't help anybody to go after them in this way. So, that being said, I'm actually going to have to seriously consider whether or not I want to report Josh Feuerstein.
Yeah, Luke says that the Yelp comments had nothing to do with their lack of business. No, it didn't. They had, as far as I could tell, I mean, they only had one review on their Yelp page before the Thunderfoot crowd came in and kind of took over with.
And wasn't it her? Like, she wrote her own review?
No. I know Brett Keane had done that a few times. I don't think Laughing Witch had done that. It was somebody else.
I'm pretty sure Laughing Witch did it once. It might not have been her only comment, but this is all stuff you guys can look up on your own. Like, this is very readily information.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yelp is
I
a
do.
review site, Max.
Yeah, yeah, no, she did
local businesses.
Yeah, she did leave a review somewhere. It wasn't on Yelp though. Yelp only had one reviewer on it before the crowd, but I think that she reviewed it somewhere else on a different platform or something. Her own review was on Google Plus. That's right. Yeah. So, but anyways, that is the Thunderfoot Laughing Witch situation. What we're gonna go into, huh?
Just a big mess.
Yeah.
And like all the stories we review, these are our own opinions. Highly recommend everybody watch all of this, all the information, to make your own judgments.
Exactly. I guess now, since ALS isn't here to bust our eardrums, we have Hypocrite of the Week.
That was terrible.
I know it was, but, you know.
Oh, God, he's conditioned me. Now I miss the original. No! I hate everything.
Pastor accused of child porn charges resigns from church. Let's see. A pastor has resigned from his position at Mecosta County Church amid a criminal investigation that led to child pornography charges against him. Richard Patton, 70, was music minister at New Hope United Methodist Church in Mecosta. He was hired in 2012. Patton was placed on paid leave September 24th, at which time he made church leaders aware that he was the subject of a criminal investigation. He resigned October 8th. He is charged in Walker District Court with 2 counts of using computers to commit a crime and 2 counts of possessing sexually abusive material involving children. Police allege Patton searched for and viewed sexually abusive material involving children on the internet. He allegedly admitted to typing the search entries that police found on the devices. Who searches Google for child porn? I mean, seriously. I mean, they're like low-jacked out the ass. Who would really type in, "Oh, let's get some child porn going" in Google? I mean, people are going to be able to find that shit easy. I mean, I'm not trying to...
Especially if he's already, like, under suspicion for all of this bullshit.
Yeah. GE's Hypocrite of the Week sounded like a boy band.
It's
well, I wish we had ALS here, but...
So it's a horrific person doing something horrible and doesn't have the wherewithal to even understand the situation. I just hate these people. Oh, yeah. Man.
Well, apparently...
Why does it always have to be, like, abusing children? Like, I don't need this on my Sunday evenings.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's out free right now on a $75,000 bond. So,
of course. $75,000.
Yeah, well, you know, and I guarantee you this isn't the first time he's been caught either. This is just when the police have caught him. You know, these types of individuals generally have a past of, you know, doing these kind of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if they found more of a past with him, you know, being unusually explicit with children in his music ministry or whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying that that's the case here. I'm saying that I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a pattern of behavior to lead up to, because I mean, he's 70 years old. I bet that he's been doing it for a while.
Man. Oh, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
So, obviously, this is a terrible situation. Obviously, it's somebody in a position of power, abusing that power to prey not only on people that have no ability to defend themselves, but also have a dependency on this individual. So they probably don't even understand that anything is wrong. Man.
No, well, and what makes it worse is that people would still forgive him after this. Like if he started talking a whole bunch of God shit. I mean, I'm fairly certain people would be like, "Oh, okay, well, he's worked it out with God."
There's been so many situations where people will rather have the child abusing pastor than children around in their churches. They'll do anything to keep these people holy.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I know I kind of bring this up every time, but, there's that church down in Florida that actually banned children from their congregation.
That's the one I'm referencing.
Yeah. And it's just ridiculous the lengths that people would go to just to keep pedophiles, like, in the church. Like, oh, he just needs a second chance.
Is this like a pure cognitive dissonance that these people have? That it's like... I don't even know what to say about this. Is that what's going on? That they see that there's somebody that's abusing children, and instead of getting that guy or girl, doesn't matter, away from the children, they'll just do, like, man, I can't even think right now. This is just making me angry.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, people, I mean, it's the whole forgiveness thing in Christianity, because in Christianity, they teach you that, God can forgive any sin. And, if you start espousing that you're groveling at the feet of God, or that you're seeking guidance from God or whatnot to cure it, I mean, it's been shown in other cases that people have known about pastors and whatnot being, sexually abusive to kids, but yet... they just forgive him because he's a pastor and he's conveying with God or convening with God, what the fuck ever, and it's just, I don't know. I hate the whole forgiveness aspect of Christianity. I really do.
I hate the forced forgiveness of it. Like, I totally it boggles my mind that it's possible, but there are tons of situations where victims of horrible crimes are able to find it within themselves to forgive the people that abuse them. But this idea that it should be mandatory, that when just because they are one with their religion to whatever degree that means anything, that characteristic means that they should be forgiven. That's ridiculous. The only reason people should be forgiven for anything is if they show real ability to never do that thing again and find some way to make it up to the people that they harmed. Like, that's where forgiveness comes from. A God doesn't forgive anybody. The God forgiveness isn't a thing, okay? All this is an excuse that people make so they can reconcile the idea that someone who is prescribed by God to be holy can do something so horrible. That's as far as I can understand why people are doing this. This person is holy, so they can't have done this crime. It must be sin, so they're forgiven, so they're good now. No more crimes will ever happen. It's not that simple, okay? It's never going to be that simple.
Yeah.
Rant over.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, Paul mentions in this, the families involved go right along with it. That's exactly the problem. Rant, start up again. The idea that the families of these people that have been victimized, or the family members that are doing the going along, were the ones that were victimized. It's appalling because of God. If it's the God characteristic, or if it's the holy people in the church that are doing the forgiving on behalf of the other people that are actually victimized, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually rectify the person. It doesn't help the person that is committing these horrible actions, and it doesn't help the victims either. All it does is push it away so no one has to think about it anymore. But people still will. It's not going to go away. Nothing was solved. You're just making it worse. That's why repeat offenses happen so often in these situations. because nothing is solved.
Yeah, hold on. Dieter didn't know that we were, or not Dieter, sorry, but Alice didn't know that we were still going.
We can end it now. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, well, it says, I think he's saying in the chat that it appears my power went out because I think I hear my generator running. I mean, it did cut off quite suddenly.
Makes sense.
He says that it doesn't matter what account he uses. Okay, so.
Yeah, he can message you. He message you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, he's probably messaging from his phone is what he's doing. So, I mean, his phone would still have internet.
You can Skype on your phone. Stop being lazy.
He probably doesn't know the password for it. But anyways, reason 44, the stream about calling someone over Skype. Yes, do hit thumbs up down below if you indeed liked this particular Reason episode. This is going to be a bi-weekly, which apparently means either every 2 weeks or twice a week. You can figure out which one we mean. But this is a bi-weekly show. We'll do it every other Sunday. So I'm going to try to do a fair amount of promotion for the next Reason in a couple weeks. Yeah, once a fortnight, whatever. But anyways, we're going to wrap it up here. Dieter, do you want to stamp this guy with Hypocrite of the Week?
I don't even know where the fucking gavel is. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just depressed now.
Hypocrite
I'm about to say,
of the Week.
I'll use this shoe.
Yeah, No Privacy said,
right.
well, Bo Swag Gaming said way better than Church.
Horrific crimes against children and your community. Oh, I'm sorry. For horrific crimes against your community, and especially the children of your community, and communities elsewhere because it's on the internet, we have stamped you Hypocrite of the Week.
Yes. Hypocrite.
I guess while simultaneously trying to be a paragon of virtue in your community. You see, we do need Aeolus. He's better at these.
He is, and I hate that his power went out. So next time maybe we can get a bit more dedicated power source. Yeah, for Aeolus. But we enjoyed everybody here. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want more of it. Also, be sure to subscribe to Dieter and God Works Out. I will have their links down below, and so yeah, you guys go subscribe to them. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. And of course, on my channel, I post up a video every single day, so you can come by whenever you want to and just binge watch me talking about Bible shit. Dieter, do you have anything coming up on your channel?
I plan on arguing about things. I might be doing some... I'm trying to figure out if I can do any songs, because I wanted to do covers, but we'll see if that goes anywhere.
Okay, cool. Awesome. This week we have Did Jesus Exist? This week we have Did Jesus Exist, where he becomes a waterbender. We have Bible questions about some random thing in the Bible, and then we just have random other videos. So, everybody have a good week, and we will see you guys in 2.
Bye, everybody.